Right, we're actually live now. At a different link because that one wouldn't work. So we'll just wait for some people to join. No one's bloody joining. What is going on? Here we are, I'm here now. Right, give us a shout in the comments if you can see me and hear me, because before it wouldn't let me actually go live. I had to wait a second. So if you're there, we're going to wait and we're going to go. We're going to wait for people to come in 2 minutes and then we'll start talking about Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, strikers, Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz, what I had for tea, and all sorts. How are we all? Anyway, it's very weird because I feel like I'm just talking to myself here and I'm stood up because, well, I don't know why. But we'll give 1 minute and then we'll start answering the questions. Just let some more people come in. What did I have for tea? Well, I had lamb kebabs that I put under the grill. I had some homemade salsa, tomatoes, coriander, onion, a little bit of feta sprinkled over the top. It was beautiful. And I had some Greek flatbreads with tzatziki. Right, we've got enough people. Let's get going. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about Florian Wirtz. So you're all after an update. You're all thirsty for an update. And really, if I'm being brutally honest, there's not too many massive updates today. It's been a very quiet day in terms of Florian Wirtz. And I woke up this morning expecting a reasonably busy day with Florian Wirtz. But what I would say is it's going to happen and it's just taken a bit longer than I expected and that anyone expected. So I feel a bit bad about this one because obviously I have a vested interest in this one happening too, because I flew all the way out to Munich last week to write a piece about Florian. So I want this one to happen as well, especially because I have somewhat stuck my neck on the line and saying it will happen, but I stand by that. Florian Wirtz will be a Liverpool player soon, just maybe a bit longer than we may have expected, may have anticipated. But basically, yeah, as I said, I feel a little bit bad about how long it's taken, and it's annoying me as well. It's annoying me a lot because I want to have a few days off this summer, but I'm sort of thinking I don't want to take time off until this Wirtz deal is over the line. But the way the land lies is Leverkusen rejected Liverpool's £113 million bid over the weekend. I did a story on Sunday saying that Leverkusen are potentially holding out for somewhat in the region of, let's say, 118 million or 120 million, just a slight budge from their 126 valuation. This is pounds, obviously, that we're talking about. And I said then that Leverkusen were braced for Liverpool's next bid. Now, obviously people are saying they haven't bid, but I would basically, the bid that they made on Friday didn't become common knowledge for about 48 hours. So they could well have bid today. They could well have made that final written bid. It's just not leaked out to us guys yet. It's not leaked out to me. It's not leaked out to the rest of the English guys. And it's not leaked out to Bild and the German guys over there. But everything I put out about Florian Wirtz is very well sourced in terms of it's not just the English people that are telling me this, it's the German people as well. It's not just people at the clubs, it's people who have knowledge of the deal and how Richard Hughes is working. But the way the land lies is Liverpool really, really, really want Florian Wirtz, and Florian Wirtz really, 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 really wants Liverpool. And if you add those two things together, normally they equal a done deal. It's just taking a little bit longer than maybe we expected. But what I would say is this is a very complex deal. Maybe not complex, maybe complex is the wrong word. It's Liverpool's transfer record. They're not just going to say, there you go, buy Leverkusen, there's your money, off you go. and Florian Wirtz holding up the shirt. So it's taken a bit longer than we may have hoped, but there is super confidence on both sides that this one will be wrapped up soon. So let's have a look at some of these questions about the deal. Do you think it'll be done this week? What day are we on? Tuesday? I think they'll shake hands this week. I don't want the aggregators to clip that up, but I do think that they will shake hands this week, because the word that I got on, what day was it? Saturday night maybe, was that Bayer Leverkusen are just eking out every bit of money that they can. They're going through the smaller details, the finer details, the add-ons, the bonuses, the what have you. One of the things that someone said, a very well-placed source said to me, was they're going for bonuses that are not even achievable. And I just don't really understand the logic behind that, but that's not my problem. I do think that Richard Hughes is obviously doing a good job on this deal, despite the fact that it's taking a while. If you look at the fact that if we rewind to when I was sat on Brighton Beach and I did a video, and that was 3 weeks ago yesterday. 3 weeks ago today. It was on a Tuesday. And I said then, I've just got a sneaky feeling on Florian Wirtz and Liverpool. But at that stage, he was 100%, he was 80% going to Bayern Munich. Maybe he personally didn't think that, but the way that people were talking was he was definitely going to Bayern Munich, or almost certainly going to Bayern Munich. Now, he's decided that he wants Liverpool. The day after that video, when I was sat on Brighton Beach, Manchester City got very angry at journalists saying that he met Florian Wirtz. So I was having a few beers in Liverpool one night, and and there was an article that went out about City talking to Wirtz, and a few sources, nothing to do with Liverpool, came on to me and said, this is just not true. There's no truth whatsoever that he's had talks with City. And then City themselves later must have briefed, I didn't get the brief, I don't know if this is true, they must have briefed that Wirtz was not going to City. They said it was because they couldn't afford it. I didn't believe that for 1 second. The truth is that whatever Bayern Munich tell you, whatever Man City tell you, Florian Wirtz wants Liverpool, and this one will get done. It's just taking a while. But as I said, the finer details are being ironed out now, in terms of add-ons, bonuses, payment structure. If a deal has got that far, it's going to happen, and it's going to make that signing announcement, the here we go, if you like, even sweeter for you guys. But it's just a case of me, as I said in a video 2 or 3 days ago, just calm. I think it'll happen. People are saying, will it happen tonight? No, because it's 8:30. But it doesn't matter that it hasn't happened in this little window, because, well, why would it? Because there's 2 months until the start of pre-season. Sorry, just replying to a text there. There's 2 months to the start of the season, sorry. There's 1 month to the start of pre-season. It doesn't really matter if Wirtz signs today or if he signs in 2 weeks. All that matters is that he is going to be a Liverpool player at the start of next season. Right, let's have a look at some of these questions now. 140 or 150. I mean, Leverkusen want 150. I think that they might go a little bit less. I mean, I was told by a very, very well-placed source that they're holding out for 120-ish pounds. So maybe Liverpool will pay that. As I said a few minutes ago, they might have already made that bid. It's just not leaked out to us guys yet. Any truth to the links to Angelo Steele? He's a very interesting player, really good profile of player. I mean, I can't claim to be a Angelo Steele expert, but he looks good. And I think that the Stuttgart local paper said that they like him, and I've not actually heard anything from my end to say that that's true, but it seemed like a realistic link, so I won't rule it out. But I can't say that I've heard that. Any Ekatike news? Nunez to Saudi. Right, should we deal with the strikers then? I mean, I've talked a lot about Florian Wirtz, and I mean, I'll answer more questions about him, but maybe we should deal with the strikers. So, the latest on outgoings first, or the latest overall picture is that what I heard last week was when Liverpool have done a deal for Darwin Nunez, when Wirtz is through the door, Liverpool will turn their attention to signing a number 9. Now, what's interesting is none of the names that are out there are absolutely concrete, and I'm not going to sit here, I'm actually stood up for some strange reason. I'm not going to stand here and say that I know exactly who Liverpool are targeting for that number 9 role. Actually, I'm going to stand up because that cuts my head off. But Ekatike, I wrote in my Liverpool Confidential column, which is on our website every Wednesday, 12 o'clock, apart from not this Wednesday because it's on hiatus for the summer, but hopefully this video will make up for the fact that there's no column this week. But I wrote in that column in February that Liverpool liked Hugo Ekatike. And as far as I'm aware, they do like him. There's not anything to say that that is fabricated. They do like him. The only problem is, and this is the downfall of all of the striker targets that we'll talk about, he costs an awful lot of money. So when Wirtz is done, when Kerk is done, Liverpool have spent 200 plus mil this summer. So that's 29 on Frimpong. Let's say, for argument's sake, 120 on Wirtz, 40 on Kerkez, and 29 on Mamadashvili because he counts as this summer's finances. What's that? It's over 200 anyway. So they're going to have to balance the books. But also, can they afford to put down an 80, 90 on a striker? I'm not sure, but let's see. They definitely want a striker. And I think realistically, before everyone knew that Florian Wirtz was a realistic target, everyone would have said the main areas to improve this summer are left back and a striker, and maybe a Trent replacement at right back. So they've obviously got the right back. The Kerkez deal's going to go through soon. We'll come on to Kerkez in a minute because there are some interesting things to say on that. But I would say that number 9 is a necessity this summer because Darwin Nunez, nice chap, but not good enough for Liverpool for me. I really don't like to be overly harsh to players because I do have to speak to them in the mix zone and stuff, although Nunez doesn't really speak English. He's not really in that category. But yeah, he's not been good enough. Diogo Jota's been not fit enough. Luis Diaz has played there, but he's not a number 9, and his future's not overly certain either. But Ekatike, definitely like him. Who else is there? João Pedro's been linked. He's not going to happen. Funnily enough, actually, now I can say this after the fact. I wouldn't have said it at the time. But in about March, where would it have been March? Maybe even earlier. Someone that I trust texted me to say that someone high up at Brighton had been going around telling people that Liverpool have made an inquiry for João Pedro. Now, I tried to verify that at the time, and basically everything I got back was that was absolutely fabricated. So the moral of the story is I think Brighton were using Liverpool in that instance to try and drive a market for him. I'm not sure where Pedro will be going, but it won't be Liverpool. Just thought that was an interesting anecdote. Same with Liam Delap. He got emphatically shot down to me a few months ago, and as we know, he's now signed for Chelsea. Mateus Cunha was one that they looked at. They liked him a lot, I think, but I think basically they did some digging and realised that he was not the one for them, maybe for reasons aside from his footballing ability, and he's obviously gone to Man United. So the Nunez thing, I'm just reading all these comments as they come in. The Nunez thing is interesting. Liverpool, as far as I'm aware, want about 65 to 70 million. Al Hilal are one of the clubs interested. Obviously, time's run out for them to do it in this little window. But I don't know. one thing that we haven't really thought about with Nunez is what he wants to do. Does he want to go and play in Saudi? Would his family want to go and live in Saudi? Not sure. Doesn't really matter. Liverpool want about 65 to 70 million for him. Will he get that money? I wouldn't pay it, but maybe they will. But yeah, as I said, I wouldn't be paying that much money for Darwin Nunez if I was a football club. But that's what they want. There is a player in there. I think there is a player in there if he's confident and he's playing every single week. But he's not going to get to do that at Liverpool. I think Liverpool need 2 strikers. They're obviously not going to sign 2 strikers in one window. But one thing that may be worth considering, if they do Wirtz, do they do like a sort of a less expensive striker this summer and then maybe do a 100 million plus striker next summer? Obviously, the dream target is Alexander Isak. Is Alexander Isak going to sign for Liverpool this summer? Well, if the aggregators are listening, then I'm going to say a flat out no. But if they're not listening, then obviously there's hope, obviously. But I can't see Newcastle. Realistically speaking, very realistically speaking, Newcastle aren't going to sell him this summer. Right, Julian Alvarez, I just think he's too much money. Have you heard the name Stassin? Not until 2 minutes ago. Let's Google him. Is he even a... Lucas Stassin. Let's have a look at this geezer. West Ham want him, according to this. 20 years old, Belgian striker. To be honest, mate, I can't say anything about that. Never heard it. Nico Williams, it's obviously one that they've liked in the past. But again, it looks like he's possibly going elsewhere. Jonathan David, not sure about him, to be fair. I think a lot of things, like, people get obsessed with signings, and I don't blame them, but a lot of these players that Liverpool get linked with, when you actually sit down and deep it, are they actually good enough for Liverpool? And I'm not sure a lot of these people that are being mentioned in the chat are. And as Slot, one of Slot's big things is, I'm not signing players for the sake of it. Any Konate contract news? I think he was planning to speak with his agent in Liverpool after the season had finished. Obviously, as we know, the season has finished. If you'd asked me about Konate a month ago, I would have actually said I would be a bit worried about him in terms of the fact that he's got a year left and Madrid want him. What he has said to us guys since, when I've spoke to him in the mix zones at the games, has calmed my feelings on that a little bit, and I do think they'll end up extending. Again, please don't aggregate that, but that is my gut feeling. But as I said, a month ago, I wasn't so sure. So what should we talk about next? Bomber. You want a bomber? Well, spoke a lot about Mr. Florian Wirtz at the start of this video. And I basically just said, you know, listen, he's going to happen. Anfield sector, about to misquote you. What, like they do? They never do that. Anfield sector's the best one for me. Harvey Elliott news. My last video sort of touched on this. There's a few clubs interested around Europe and in this country. I think that maybe, I can't remember who I was having this chat with yesterday. It might have been on when I was on the Anfield Wrap. I said that maybe Brighton is the sort of level that he should be looking around. Adam Wharton, I see you asked. I love Adam Wharton. I really like watching him play. I think he's like a Spanish midfielder that just happens to be English. Liverpool have scouted him in the past. Liverpool have liked him in the past. Does that mean a deal will be done this summer? I'm not sure, to be honest, and I don't think so. But they've definitely posted an interest in the past, from what I've heard from different colleagues and sources around. Rafa Leao, not for me. Lautaro Martinez, he's 28, mate. Can't see Liverpool signing a 28-year-old striker. Kerk, yeah. Why have we not talked about Kerk? Let's see. Who is that person in your garden, says Barry. Well, I hope not, because everyone's out. Can't believe Barry made me look. Fuck, idiot. Barry ruins my life. What was I talking about? Kerk. Yeah, I actually texted someone who was very in the know at Bournemouth earlier today, or that would know the answer to Bournemouth questions. And I said, I asked him a Kerkez question, and I've been left on 2 blue ticks, so that's a bit of a shame. But Kerkez, I think that one will happen soon as well. I think that is pretty obvious. Kerkez is twerking for Liverpool. Spoke to someone as well today, actually. I was on the phone for about 20 minutes to someone who knows very well things about Kerkez, and honestly, the character references that he's got are amazing in terms of his personality. So, people saying, before I go, I'm not going anywhere, don't worry, I'm going to stay here till about 9:30 or until my phone dies. Lewis, before you go, when do you think we get the Wirtz? Here we go, in your opinion. Well, I'm not going to interact with Fabrizio's catchphrases. I need to make my own one. Fabrizio's very good, by the way. That wasn't a dig. When do I think we'll get the here we go? I'm sorry, I was just distracted by Backseat's Barry messaging me on Twitter. When do I think we'll get it? So it's Tuesday today. I definitely don't aggregate this, but I think that they'll do a deal at some point this week. And I would be surprised if they've not done that by the weekend. And I will also be very annoyed if they've not done that by some point of the weekend, because as I said, I want to have a holiday, but I'm not going on a day off. I'm not having days off until Wirtz is done. Lewis, what do you think Jayden Dan's role will be? Well, I think that he needs to go out on loan. Obviously, he did go out on loan to Sunderland. It didn't quite work out for him. Real shame. See him a lot around the AXA when I'm there for training sessions. What am I on about? I'm not there for training sessions. When I'm there for press conferences. Maybe I am there for training sessions. Maybe I'm the secret number 9 target. But yeah, I see him at the AXA when I'm there for presses. Always says hello, nice chap. Real shame what happened to him this season. But yeah, I think Jayden Dan's needs to go out on loan next season, get some minutes under his belt. Hopefully maybe he'll go on the pre-season tour. What's David Lynch like? Great film director, shame that he died. No, I know you mean the Liverpool reporter. Genuinely a really top lad. And his YouTube channel's better than mine. Diamande Sporting Lisbon. Do you know what? I actually wrote about 18 months ago that Liverpool liked Diamande, and that one, I think some other people wrote that as well, but I've not heard his name mentioned in terms of Liverpool for a while. How do you get into sports journalism? I had a few of these. Well, I sort of fell into it by chance. I don't know whether the viewer numbers are going to drop off here, but quickly, I did a law degree at Sheffield University, and then I was one of my housemates at the time was doing journalism. I was like, quite like looks of that. I think I did some law work experience, and I thought that was really boring. So I gave journalism a crack, did a master's in it, applied for a grad scheme at the Mail, did like 4 years in London on the desk, and then got asked to cover Liverpool, and I wanted to get out on the road and be a reporter. So that's why I said yes to covering Liverpool. It's all right. Next question. Any other names for centre-back? How do the briefs work? Bajcetic to go. Will he be heading to Hong Kong for pre-season? Sing the Chiesa chant. Rodrigo news. Unk. Don't you dare call me an unk. I'm 27. No, I'm not. I'm 28. Is it true you're a City fan? Centre-back targets. It's a little bit quiet on that. But would you necessarily rule out Jared Braithwaite if I had a conversation with myself. Yeah, probably, but they definitely like him. That was a strange conversation with myself. Any update on the Heitinger replacement? No, actually, I've not heard anything yet on that. So I should check that out. I know, Max, I'll answer your question in a minute. Yeah, I know Marino Pusic has been linked. Not heard anything about that. Trey Ogunsay from Sunderland, I think he's that youth striker, isn't he? And as far as I'm aware, that one's not going to happen. Max says for the 84th time he's work experience with the LFC media team next week. Let's hope that he gets to meet Wirtz. So yeah, you enjoy yourself, mate. Anything on Etienne Reinen from Feyenoord? Well, I've seen him linked in terms of the assistant manager job, but as far as I'm aware, he's more of an analyst. He was meant to be coming in. Barry's clipped me, someone says. I'm going to block him. He's blocked. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, Etienne Reinen. Well, they wanted a... Slotty wanted an analyst last summer. He tried to bring in Etienne Reinen, didn't get his work permit. But he did bring in a analyst about halfway through the season, that, or maybe not halfway, about a few months into the season. And that was, what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'm going to Google it. Roderick van der Ham. So he brought him as an analyst. I think they all call him Roddy, and he sits at the back of the stands. So I don't know whether that's linked. So I don't know is the answer about the assistant manager. I'd rather say I don't know than try and make something up. Right, Barry, you've served your time. You're off the naughty step. You're unblocked. Have you met Indy Callier? No, but I do like a bargain bucket. Although I always think that the beans and the gravy is too hard to decide between. Will Liverpool... Indy has an exclusive at 10 p.m. Ooh, I look forward to that. Is that something to do with the Louisiana burger not being on the menu anymore? After Wirtz and Kerk is done, then how many people do you think will sign? One or two more, I think. Does Indy make everything up? No idea, to be honest. Lewis, mate, it's going too quick, can't read any. Stop saying there's people in the window. It's scaring me. I'm just messaging my girlfriend saying apparently there's people in the window. Right, what's next? Any names? Diaz latest? Well, this is an interesting one, I think, because she's just replied to me saying that they're wearing it's a little inside joke. Luis Diaz, that's what I was talking about, wasn't it? Yeah, this is an interesting one because basically what happened was, Deco rang up Richard Hughes, said, "Can we have Luis Diaz?" Richard Hughes said, "Absolutely not, put the phone down." No, that's not what happened, but that is a little running joke that I've got with someone in my comments on YouTube. But yeah, basically Barca made an approach, Liverpool told them where to go, and I strongly imagine that is basically a hands-off warning, but I also think that is not the end of the story, because the Saudis are keen. Is it Al Nasser? Oh, in the nice, the Saudis are keen on Luis Diaz. I was going to say I get all the teams mixed up, but that probably get me cancelled. Al Nasser want Luis Diaz. Barcelona want Luis Diaz still. Barcelona have been told where to go. The Saudis are still not lurking around in the background, ready to make their move for him. So maybe he still goes, but it would take a massive fee. And I make the case in that video last week that I would keep Luis Diaz at all costs, because, not at all costs actually, unless a massive offer came in, I would keep Luis Diaz because I think he's underrated. Lewis, have you got any Isak info? I mean, obviously he's the dream number 9 target, but I just can't see it. Gakpo latest. Yeah, but Bayern Munich like him, but that's about it. Hato latest. Do you know what someone told me? I can't remember who it was. Someone in the Netherlands told me. Virgil van Dijk absolutely raves about Jorel Hato, but Slot wasn't as convinced, and that is why they've reached Kerk as their number 1 left-back target. And I was speaking to someone today who knows Kerk as well, and he said basically the fact that he's got Andy Robertson to compete with is going to just raise him to the next level. So we'll see about that. Can you show us the face you make when you try to make eye contact with the players in the mix zone? Well, they'd have to actually look at me first. Ryan Cooney, Trent replacement. I love it. Ryan Cooney plays for Crew Alexandra. What a player he is, by the way. Pep Linders. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that bothered about Pep Linders. Seeing the Chiesa chant now? Nope. Is number 6 priority? Doesn't seem that way, does it? It's quite quiet on that front. Who do you think we will miss Trent massively? Well, I don't want to bring the tone down, but I do think he'll be missed a little bit. Are you a City fan? No, I don't support Leicester City. Any more winger names, Unk? Stop calling me an Unk. 28. Left wing to who starts? Right, slow down, guys. Anything about Lautaro? He's just too old for me, and he'll cost a lot of money. Jaros news. I think he will end up at Ajax. I think Ajax want him a lot. Maybe he won't definitely go there. Sesko sounds like he's going to Arsenal for me. Have you seen the Van Dijk screamer? No, but I had a text to ask that, so I presume it's a good goal. Anthony Gordon. I think he's actually had quite a bad season, Anthony Gordon. Or an average season. Morgan Rogers, could we? Nope. As far as I'm aware, he's not on the list. Jaros going to Ajax is number 1. That's a big move. Yeah, but he is a lot better than you think. He won the Austrian League. He won the Austrian Cup double. So I think Jaros is actually all right. It's going to be interesting, actually. I was speaking to someone today in Hungary because I'm getting stuff ready for a Kerkez piece when that's signed. I've got a piece ready to go when it's signed. And he was saying this lad, Armin Pexi, is like unbelievable for the future anyway. So I think that is the better signing than people think. People think he's just, making up the numbers, but he's not. Fafana from Leon, not as far as I'm aware. Lewis, name 1 player for us to keep an eye on. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Actually, no, I'm not doing that. The aggregators will lap it up. Pexi, future number 2. Well, Alisson's got 2 years left, and I think, reading between the lines, this is not based on any info, just what he said. I think Alisson will leave after them 2 years and see out his career maybe in Brazil. Mamadas really becomes the number 1 if he's good enough and whatever. And then maybe Pexi can be the number 2. Yeah, maybe he'll do a season in the academy, then maybe a loan next season. Bajcetic, Morton futures. Now Doak as well. These are interesting questions. Ben Doak has a lot, and I mean a lot, of clubs that want him. The thing that's putting the clubs off is the fact that he's been injured for half of the last 2 years. So he had an operation in, I want to say, December 2023 that ruled him out for pretty much most of the second half of last season. He had he had surgery in about February or March, was it this season? And he missed half of this season. So Ben Doak, the big worry for me is his injuries. So Liverpool have a decision to make. Do they cash in on him? Because I do think that he's very, very good. And I always remember Virgil. It was actually the first Liverpool game that I covered, I think. It was a friendly at Darmstadt. Not at Darmstadt. It was against Darmstadt at Preston. First Liverpool game that I covered after I got this job. And he was like, Doak is incredible. He's like a Tasmanian devil. He also, I think that was like 2 days after Jordan Henderson left, and I don't know if he was happy about that either. I seem to remember, but I can't remember properly. How badly did Engamoa roast Trent? Do you know what? I think that Engamoa is like unbelievable, and I think that he needs to go on this pre-season tour because I genuinely think that he's like incredible. Just seeing that England are losing to Senegal. And another mate in one of my WhatsApp groups has said, Jesus, this is so bad. Anyway, I'm sure that... And it's Illiman and Dye. I'm sure that watching this stream is more... hopefully it's more fun than watching England. Although maybe it's a bit more interesting because they're losing. Trey Naoni, very good as well. Yeah, Trey is very good. I like Trey. The play... Someone's saying that they can barely hear me. Is my sound really bad? I don't know why it is. You're fine, Unk. Thank you, Unk. I keep getting distracted by these comments. Gonzalo Ramos, is he on Liverpool's shortlist? Well, this is coming back to what I was saying before. If you fit deep it, is Gonzalo Ramos good enough for Liverpool? No, he's not. And I will stand by that. If they end up signing him, then I will still say that I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool. Wirtz or Cherky? Well, I think Wirtz is... I mean, I've not watched either of them enough. That's what I'm going to say, actually. And me saying that about Gonzalo Ramos isn't shooting down Sam's story, by the way. I've just not heard it myself. McAllister contract news. Yeah, I think that's got to be on the agenda soon. And it might be on the agenda soon. We'll have to see. One thing that I think should be on the agenda, and as far as I'm aware it is on the agenda, but I can't confirm it properly, is that Slot and Liverpool want to do a new deal for Slot to sign a different contract. So I think basically that one is going to happen, but it's just not thingy yet. How close was Osimhen and Jan? As far as I'm aware, not very. Right, what's going on? Since you just got the job, how do you get sources so quickly? Well, it's actually a lot harder than it sounds. So basically it's a case of, just texting people and not getting a reply, or calling people and then giving you 10 seconds of their day, when in reality it's like a massive thing for your day. So it does take a while to build up sources. One thing that I try to do is maybe like text them on a regular basis and just see how they are, check in. And then when you actually need them, in terms of, I've heard your player's going to wherever, then they're more likely to reply to you. But yeah, it is hard to build up sources, and I've never ever said that I've got loads of sources or anywhere close to the amount that some of the people who work in my trade do. But before I put a story out, I made sure to double, triple, quadruple source it, which I did on Wirtz the other day. Speak to people in Germany, speak to people in England, and the news coming back was that basically Leverkusen are braced for Liverpool's next bid. So maybe tomorrow we'll find out more What is your favourite sauce? Barbecue. Connor says, that's 2 comments you've ignored now. I like your barbecue. I'd like one for my... Very good. My barbecue is just there. Not actually cracked it open this summer yet, Connor, but maybe you can come round and we can do so. Favourite film? I've got loads, mate. The last film I watched actually was a rewatch of Interstellar. What a film that is, by the way. Is Gatpo to Bayern real? They like him, but I can't see it. Cam Barker though replaced Diaz. Oh, I've not considered him. He's a great player, Bradley Barker though. But again, not. Have you got Richard Hughes' number? Not answering that one because you'll somehow hack my phone. Does Richard Hughes only work on Friday? Richard Hughes, by the way, is doing a very good job at Liverpool because he started. How many of you guys genuinely thought that Slot was good enough to take over Liverpool? Genuinely, 0 of you. And he got Slot over the line. He got Salah over the line. He got Van Dijk over the line. And he's going to pull off the biggest summer transfer. He's going to pull off the coup of the summer. So I will not have Richard Hughes slander in the comments. Who wins the Prem next season? Well, I thought at the start of this season, Everton. What am I on about? I thought at the start of this summer that Arsenal were going to win the Prem, and they didn't. This upcoming season, I think Liverpool will be winning the Premier League again. And please don't clip up that Everton thing. Can't really. I know, I do. I need a trim. The old taper fade doesn't last very long. That's why I've been wearing my hat in videos. And then I get people in my comments saying, why are you wearing a hat, you tramp? Do you like Marvel movies? I don't dislike them. I think in COVID, I watched them all back to back. The however many there is, or however many there was, up to like phase 4 or 5. Slot new contract, yeah, I said a minute ago, I think that'll happen soon. Do we have funds available for more than one big money signing? Depends on outgoings. So can we... Steele, do you watch basketball? No, but one of my very good mates does watch the NBA, so I sometimes find out about it via him. Thank you for someone who said they love my hair. It's a bit curly, isn't it? Just got out of the shower, went to the gym after work. More likely to go Gomez or Kwanzaa? I don't know, 50-50. Bundesliga clubs like Kwanzaa, so do people in this country as well. Mobland is a Tom Hardy masterclass. Do you know what I watched last night, actually? I watched the first episode of Homeland from back in the day. Brody and Carrie and all them. Absolutely brilliant television. Favourite TV shape? Can you see my TV? No, but it's rectangular. Would you go bald? No, I would rather die. You going to Pop World, Lewis? Not tonight. Try not to drink for a few days, although there are some beers in the fridge that I could have. Is Simicast getting sold? Yes, I think so. Because Kerk is coming in. Anything about Wharton interest? They like him, but can't see it happening this summer. Favourite colour of sofa? This one is like dark grey, quite like that. Usman Diamande links, yeah, that's one that they've liked in the past, but not sure about. Not sure that that's the case anymore. Also, if you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to stay quiet for 5 seconds to let you do it. Thank you. Steele, Ronaldo or Messi? How dare... That's not even a question. Messi is the GOAT. Messi's my favourite footballer to ever play football. And I think that anyone that picks Ronaldo over Messi needs to give their head a massive wobble, because Ronaldo is an absolute Nasty person. I was going to say some other things. Have you watched Prison Break? What a TV show. Michael Scofield, the GOAT, the OG. Link the Sink as well. How does the pause in the window work in terms of deals for Kerk and Wirtz? That's a good question, because basically it doesn't matter that Liverpool have not done these deals in this transfer window transfer window one, as Dave from Anfield Index calls it. Basically, all that matters is that they will get the deals done. And it doesn't matter because the pre-season, they don't report to training for 4 weeks. 4 weeks today, I believe. So it doesn't matter. Give us a bomber that's not Wirtz or Kerkez. Better Call Saul's better than Breaking Bad. Is Cade Gordon leaving this summer? Probably, to be honest. Can't see him making it at Liverpool now. It's a shame. Nice chap. But he's not even... He's struggled on his loans as well. Yeah, the Huijsen question. I think Huijsen... I'm wondering, in hindsight, if Huijsen is one of these opportunistic signings. Blink if there's a bomber... Can't believe I've done that, but no bombers tonight as far as I'm aware. Is Nat Phillips going? Yes, probably. Favourite shape of house? Rectangular, mate. Salah or Thierry Henry? Not sure. Probably just Salah. When I started watching football was like maybe Thierry's peak. Arsenal were the best team in the country when I started watching football. That Invincibles season was my first season watching it, so there's probably something in me that really likes Thierry, but I think Salah's done it for longer, so I'm going to go Salah. Who is the best journalist? What, in the world, or like covering Liverpool, or what? What do you mean? Ben Doak to Everton? Maybe. Ben Doak has a lot of suitors. I think Palace, I think Bournemouth. There's another one that I forgot. All want him on a permanent this summer. So as I said earlier, Liverpool have a decision to make over whether they sell him, because he is very good. And yeah, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do, I will try and do more of these next week and every week during the transfer window. Blondes or brunettes? Definitely not answering that one. But it's brunettes. Lewis, do you think Robbo's happy being second choice? I don't think he is like a definitely second choice. I think they're going to be competing. Catchers or studio? Definitely catchers. Studios full of gimps. I've sent you a bunch of abusive tweets today. Sorry, that's fine, mate. Dan's on pre-season. I'd like to see him there. Bananas or apples? Apples. Favourite ever football shirt? Don't know. Maybe like them classic Barca shirts from the era of Guardiola and those sorts of people. Maybe that's letting my mask slip on Pep Guardiola. Wirtz, kit number. Who's the number 17 at Liverpool right now? Lewis, who's your best journo friend? I've got no friends, mate. They all hate me. Curtis Jones. Why is everyone suddenly saying Curtis Jones? He scored for England or something? Why is everyone saying Curtis Jones? Oh, right, because I asked who's number 7. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, sorry about that. That is very silly. Kieran Morrison news? No, to be honest, don't. Yeah, that is very stupid of me. I asked a question, you all answered it, and I forgot. Would you be good on the traitors? Yes, I would. I would win it. No, I wouldn't. I'd go out in the first week. Is Endo staying? I think so. Lewitt's favourite grocery store? Lidl is the goat for me. Indian or Chinese? Chinese if it's a takeaway, Indian if you're eating out. What position do you play on the pitch? I was actually a goal. I don't know why I find that funny. I was actually a goalkeeper, considering I'm quite small. Favourite beer? Don't know. What's been your best moment covering Liverpool? Do you know what? I actually really enjoyed my trip to Munich last week to watch Florian Wirtz. No, it's not technically Liverpool. I liked being in the Parc des Princes, watching PSG. I liked watching them Liverpool in the San Siro. I liked being in Singapore. That was my first trip on the job. It just felt absolutely surreal because I was office based before that. I was sat in a sweaty office in Kensington the week before. Then I was just sat in Singapore having a meal with Ian Doyle. And if that doesn't make you starstruck, then I don't know what would. Thoughts on hash browns on a fry up? Absolutely unbelievable. Especially when they're just slightly overcooked. When Vert signs, were you down a shot of vodka on stream? Maybe. Nicholas, I've met you in Paris, mate. Don't remember, sorry, but that's nice. Did Doyley pay? No, he's never paid for anything in his life. Pierce or Joyce? Who was on the list for the summer window? Not sure. One defender that... these are bad questions now. Come on. Get better questions. I mean, we've gone through quite a lot. We've gone through Wirtz, we've gone through the strikers, we've gone through Darwin, we've gone through Lucha, we've gone through Kerk, we've gone through Morgan Rogers. I'm not going to do the vodka thing, by the way. We've gone through how to get into journalism. We've gone through Harvey Elliott, Jota. Is Jota off, people saying? I'm not sure on that. Netherlands 7-0 up, are they? Tyler Morton, is he off? Yes, I think he will do. Basically, what happened on Tyler was... what happened on Tyler was basically... last summer, Bayer Leverkusen, we can't stop talking about him. They came in with a loan offer for Morton that guaranteed him over 50% of games. He spoke to Xabi Alonso, who's his idol, by the way, and he basically said, you know, I'm going to play you all the time. But Liverpool didn't want to sell him, loan him, sorry, they wanted 20 million for him. Leverkusen said, we're not paying that, but what we'll do is we'll loan him and then we'll get his value doubled over the course of the year. Liverpool played hardball. He sat around, he did nothing at Liverpool, he had a shoulder operation, and he said it was the toughest year of his career. And now I think he'll be sold, but they're not going to get 20 million. Crunchy peanut butter or smooth? I am allergic to peanuts. Please aggregate that, that'd be quite funny. Is sports journalism possible without a degree? Being brutally honest, I think that you need a degree to put you ahead of everyone else. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a journalism degree. You could do a degree in anything. But yeah, I don't think you can come straight from school into it, even though there's nothing really that I do other than stand up and talk into a phone and sit at football matches. It's actually it's a very easy job, but it's actually quite hard at the same time. My girlfriend asked me what the favourite meal that she's made me is. Struggling with that. Maybe that one that the chicken, fried chicken, but instead of the cornflakes, it was Doritos. That was nice. Lark Lane or Castle Street? Lark Lane for me. Darwin to Saudi update. Yeah, Liverpool want about 65, 70 million. And do I think they'll get that? No, but if anyone's silly enough to pay it, it's the Saudis. Right, we're on 54 minutes, going to do 5 more minutes. and then we'll wrap up. Bajcetic update, he's had surgery on his hamstring injury, so that is a big shame, because I remember speaking to Slot this time last year, or maybe it was in August, and he basically said Stefan has a real big chance of making it at Liverpool if he has a promising loan. I think the second half of his season was very good, so I was looking forward to seeing what Steph had to say on pre-season, but he's just had surgery, which puts him up against it in terms of making it Liverpool this season. Morton Sale, yes, think so. Any more after Pexty? Yeah, there will be, definitely, but I just don't know him about it. Indy Callie of reliable, of course. What a lovely chap. And I love KFC. Maybe I'll do a link up with Indy where somehow I can get like a lifetime card to use at KFC after, you know, if you've had like 8 pints down the pub and forgot to add tea, you can just scan your Indy Callie card. Favourite LFC YouTuber besides yourself? David Lynch for me. He's the one that inspired me to do this channel. Is Anthony Gordon possible? It's not impossible, but I'm not sure. James McConnell loan? Well, basically, I'll take you inside the room. What happened was James McConnell was going to go on loan in January. I can't remember who was it. Was it Derby? Wickham? I can't remember what club it was. Maybe Swansea. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And Slot basically pulled him in and said, listen, we like you a lot and we want you to stay, and in a year's time there's no reason why you can't be basically on the same level that Endo is in terms of competing for squad places. Slot loves McConnell. So he vetoed a loan move in January, and then he only played one more game, which was against Plymouth, I think. So not sure of where that one lands, and I will find out before the tour, because I think he'll go on the tour, and then maybe he'll go on loan after that. I'm not sure. Is Rio going out on loan? Don't think so. Homegrown player, what do you mean? You're just saying homegrown players, what does that mean? Just been sent a picture of someone lying in bed with my stream, so hopefully I'm not sending you to sleep. Will the Wirtz deal get done? Yes, it will. And if it doesn't, then I will be hiding away for 4-5 days, because I think I've gone a bit strong on it. But basically I've spoke to about 5 or 6, 7, 8 different people who have all told me it's going to happen, and I trust all of them. So, it's 2-2 now in the England game. Who scored? Nico Williams, LFC. I'm not sure. I think they definitely have liked him. Jude Bellingham scored. Or it says J Bellingham. It could be Job. Great show, lad. Need more of these. Really appreciate it. I will maybe try and do one once a week, should we? Will you be hate watching 6 hits this summer? No, it's his unveiling in Madrid this week, and a couple of people wanted me to go, but I needed the rest. Angelo Stiller, discussed him way back at the start of the show. What's the likelihood of Endo sticking around? I think maybe 70% likely. Thoughts on Anfield sector? Nice chaps. Lewis, do you think you would have got the male job if you weren't so attractive? Well, can you show off your biceps? No, because I don't want to be on the register. Thoughts on the Thomas Frank appointment? That's actually quite sad. Because I've got this thing where people who play for a non-Big Six club, I really like them, and then they go to a Big Six club and you sort of by default have to not like them. And I genuinely think Thomas Frank is one of the nicest guys in football. So it's going to be a shame to see him go to Spurs, really. Which player did they scout at Real Betis? It's a young lad who I can't remember his name. Favourite ITK? It's Indy. Lewis, was we ever interested in Mbuemo? Maybe, but I'm not sure. Jesus Rodriguez, that name rings a bell. I think they have scouted him. Scenes when we announced Wirtz during Trent's. Do you know what's interesting actually is the fact that Wirtz is a massive Adidas athlete, isn't he? And obviously Liverpool are moving to Adidas. This is not me saying they're going to wait till August to confirm it. Don't worry. But it's going to be weird seeing Liverpool switch kits midway through pre-season. How do you get me on the channel? Your channel? Well, just message me, and I never say no to people. I just sometimes don't reply because I get too many, but I try to reply to everyone, especially the ones that are just starting out, because I know that it was hard for me when I did that. Right, guys, I'm going to close up in 2 minutes. Make sure you subscribe into the channel, and I'll do more lives, maybe once a week. I'm also going to be in Hong Kong and Japan in the summer for Liverpool's pre-season. And I'll be doing daily videos on this YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribing. I've gained about 200 subscribers since I've been on this stream. But I've also had about 600 watches, so that doesn't add up. So make sure you subscribe right this second. Isak, maybe, but probably not. Dirt Kite, nope, not for me. Pineapple on pizza, absolutely not. As I said, I started a rewatch of Homeland last night, so I'm going to go and rewatch that, episode 2 or 3. Right, so make sure you're subscribing. We'll do another live next week, and there'll be more videos from me this week. When the Wirtz deal happens, I will be doing a video. When the Kerk deal happens, I'll be doing a video. I'll be doing articles. I'll be doing tweets. You can follow them all. So hopefully we get Here We Go soon, but I'm going to end the live there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with another one next week.